What's up everybody, 40 the Broadway Saiyan here, and welcome back again to my YouTube channel with another video on Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. In this video, I'm going to be giving you guys my tier list for Young Sephiroth's weapons. So this character just came out, there was a lot of excitement for him, and I'm here to evaluate the weapons and give you guys my personal tier list for this particular character's weapons. Now remember, tier lists are very subjective, so if there's a weapon here that I undervalued and you put more value, let me know in the comment section below. This is what makes these type of topics fun, because we can create, cool discussions and things like that. And also when it comes to Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, every character can essentially play a specific role based on the way that you set them up. So there's a lot of flexibility. So there's not like one build that's going to be better over the other. There are some that are generally better, but you could be very, very creative and flexible. So remember, tier lists are subjective. We're just here to have fun and have a fun discussion. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on this tier list. So we're going to start things off first with his featured weapon, which is the Edged Wings. So this weapon is just absolutely fantastic for Young Sephiroth. Young Sephiroth right now currently is best suited to being a mage, a magic type damage dealer. So this weapon is perfect for him. You have a very powerful, and we're going to take a look at this weapon at its full capability. You have a very powerful ice single target magic attack. And currently right now, if you take a look at all of the elemental single target weapons, he has the highest modifier at 800%. It used to be Lucia's Serpent Eater and Tifa's Motor Drive that had the highest at 790 for a single target elemental attack. Young Sephiroth actually surpasses that barely, but he still now has the most powerful single target elemental weapon. The R abilities on this are absolutely fantastic. They complement the weapon so well, so you definitely want this in your main hand. It gives him boost magic attack and boost ice potency, so fantastic for Young Sephiroth. Definitely a main hand weapon, and the magic attack stat at 549 at max is pretty good as well. That is really, really strong. The support materia is very flexible. The first one can either have a physical or magic type materia. I would suggest going with magic, because Sephiroth again is more suited to being a mage right now. The second one is awesome, magic attack boost, so throw on any type of magic attack materia that you have and you're good to go. And then he does have an X sigil boost, so which is really, really cool. So you can put like one of those ruin materias on him that have the X symbol, and you'll be breaking more of the X symbols as long as that's the enemy's sigil weakness. So all in all, this weapon is absolutely fantastic, and I'm gonna place it in S tier. I mean, elemental weapons right now are just so good as long as you build around them with your sub weapons and things like that. So very, very good weapon for Young Sephiroth. Okay, it's time to talk about Nameless. I got memed on this weapon on my stream that I did for Young Sephiroth. If you guys were there, you know what I'm talking about. But we're going to take a look at Nameless. We all got a free copy of this weapon, and we're going to take a look at it again at its maximum potential. So the damage modifier on this is pretty low. It's at 240%, but the caveat is that the ATB cost is at 2. So this is spammable, and what he'll do is it's a physical single target attack that applies a mid-potency magic defense down. So what you could effectively do with this weapon, and I suggest you put this on your sub hand, there's no reason to put this on your main hand, and we'll get to that, but you could spam this to make sure that the enemy always has a magic defense down, and then afterwards pummel them with Sephiroth's powerful magic. That's what you could technically do with this, because it's only 2 ATB. You could pretty much refresh a constant magic defense down debuff. So the ability is fine. I mean, the modifier is a little low, but the ability itself is fine. My problem is the reinforcement abilities on this weapon. You have boost HP, which is pretty good. HP is very important, especially during endgame. But then you have boost lightning resist. And outside of like Ifrit, Ramu, very hard. When are we ever gonna need this? When is there ever gonna be a time where you constantly need boost lightning resist? I mean, even I beat the Ramu fight without boost lightning resist. This is the problem with this weapon. The ability itself is decent because it's cheap and you can constantly refresh a magic defense down. But the R abilities is what makes me a little sad about this weapon. And then, like I said, you're not going to equip this on your main hand unless you have nothing else available. So you're not even really going to be taking advantage of the materia slots. The support materia slots are actually pretty decent. But all in all, what kills this weapon for me is that boost lightning resist, the R ability. It's just the one that, it really hurts. It really hurts the weapon's value, in my opinion, because it's a very situational R ability, which is why Okay, I'm not going to be too harsh on it because it does have a decent command ability. I'm going to put this at C tier for now. It's a C tier weapon. If you have other things to use it over Nameless. It's an okay secondary weapon, but I definitely would not run this on as a sub weapon even, or your main hand. I would not do that. But that's where I'm going to put it for now. I'm going to put it at C tier. Okay, so the next weapon we're going to take a look at is Glaried. I think that's how you say it, Glaried. So this is another physical weapon for Sephiroth. This time he deals a physical, non-elemental damage to all enemies. So it's AoE damage. Pretty good modifier for AoE. It's 750%. The materia is excellent. Boost physical attack is really, really strong. So if you're building a physical variant of Sephiroth, you could consider putting this weapon on him. The boost limit break potency is also pretty good, so it improves the capabilities of his limit break. You could potentially use this with his limit break too, because that one is the one that buffs him, but the damage modifier is pretty low, so you could definitely use this to amp it up if you're going to be equipping this weapon. Support material wise, pretty flexible. I like the attack boost earth, so this would be very good, for example, if you're running like Quake Blow or Quakera Blow. So you would put that on there and you would get a lot of earth damage out of it. Now, because Sephiroth right now is better suited as a mage, while this weapon is very good for a physical weapon, and you have good R abilities on it, for now, I'm gonna put it at B. It's good, it's just Sephiroth right now shines as your magic damage dealer, not really physical. You could build him physical if you want to, but right now his magic capabilities is what makes him shine. But all in all, this weapon is gonna get a B for me. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take a look at now is Aonibi. Okay, I love this weapon, and we talked about this weapon a lot on my stream. But what it does is it doesn't attack. Instead, he buffs himself. He gives himself a high potency magic increase. He also gives himself a regen, and he gives himself a small heal. But that's not all. Take a look at those R abilities. He gets a boost HP. It's not at plus 40, but he still gets some HP out of this, which is very important. And then he gets a boost ability potency. And we've been talking about how these are very, very important as well for your physical or magical damage dealers, because while that attack stance is at max, they're going to be dealing a lot more damage. As you can see, the percentage modifiers right here. If you have this all the way up at the 55, I think you get this at like 35 points. You'll get the 30% from this, but like this particular reinforcement ability is really, really strong. If you have this weapon, I would definitely put it on your sub hand, on your secondary hand, because you can use this to buff his magic attack into like an insane amount and then smack them with whatever magic type abilities that you have available. And I also really like the reinforcement abilities as well. The support materia, it's okay. I wouldn't run this on your main hand personally, but it's all right. He gets a heal boost, so if you have like Cura on him or one of the healing Esanas, you could throw that on the third slot. But honestly, this is a great secondary weapon, especially that ability buffs him, and then afterwards you just nuke them to death with whatever elemental or magic spells that you have on hand. So this is a very, very good weapon. I'm gonna put Aonibi right over here at A tier. I'm gonna put it right there. Very, very good. Great way to be self-sufficient and to self-support young Sephiroth. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the Northern Lights. So Northern Lights gives him access to a 510% physical non-elemental attack. It is a single target. This one decreases the enemy's physical attack, and the potency for this is high. So the skill itself, again, kind of like Nameless, it's actually pretty good. Decreasing an enemy's physical attack by high is very, very strong, especially if they're about to launch a powerful physical attack on you. However, my problem with this weapon, again, just like Nameless, are the R abilities. And I have to say, this is probably worse than Nameless. At least Nameless gives you plus 40 to your HP. This one gives you magic defense and boost fire resist. So this is good on equipping for the Ifrit fight, but the problem with the Ifrit fight is he's immune to physical attack down and magic attack down, so I have no idea when you would actually ever want to use this weapon, unless, of course, we get a boss fight later on that is not immune to physical attack down, and you want that additional magic defense and boost fire resist. So yeah, Northern Lights, the skill is good. I like the skill. It's those R abilities that really bother me. The support materia, it doesn't even really matter. They're good. It's just you would never main hand this, or even offhand for that matter, unless you want to build like a physical Sephiroth, and then you could put this on his sub hand. But the R abilities is what's killing it for me, guys, on this weapon. That's the problem with that. Like, it looked like it was built for Ifrit, but he's immune to physical attack down. Unless I'm wrong and the co-op version is not, but I know that the solo version is. So when would you ever really need this, is my question. So Northern Lights, as cool as this weapon looks, I'm gonna put it right here. I actually think it's worse than Nameless, because at least Nameless's skill is cheap, and you still get HP out of it with the reinforcement abilities. This one is just kind of like, yeah, I think currently this might be his worst weapon. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comment section, but I'm gonna put it at D for now. Okay, so the next one we have is Prototype Crimson Blade, which looks sick, by the way. I like that red design. He gets an AoE magic fire attack. Awesome. Elements. Boost attack, so boost to his physical and magical attack. So you can kind of build him like a hybrid if you want to run this, or just pure elemental magic. And then boost fire potency. Excellent reinforcement abilities. Excellent skill. You got an element there. Also, great. Actually, the material on this is really good. So if you have this on your main hand, you get 2 magic ability damage on slots 2 and 3. That's actually really, really good. Very strong weapon. Elements are always good. It is AoE, so it's not suited for single target. You can still bring it to a single target fight, but won't be nearly as good, but it's definitely a solid weapon. So this one for me, I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to put it right here at A tier, right below Edged Wings. Not as good at, Aonibi. I'm going to put it right below Aonibi. But yeah, this is a pretty solid weapon overall if you're wanting like another element on him and you want to give him an ability to wave clear. So very, very good. Okay, next weapon we have is CC Alloy Sword. It's pretty much very similar to the weapon we just looked at, except now you have an AoE thunder attack or lightning attack rather than fire. The material on this I actually like better because it boosts his magic attack. Just his magic attack, which again, Sephiroth right now is better suited as your mage. And you also get boost lightning potency. Really, really good. I would definitely put this on your sub hand. You could probably run it on your main hand too, but most people are going to be running his ice weapon. And then the support materia is all right. This one's pretty decent. You get 2 ability damage plus 10, and then 1 magic ability damage plus 20 at the very last slot. But overall, great secondary weapon. I love the boost magic attack and the boost lightning potency. This one, I'm going to put it above the Crimson Blade. I'm going to put this one right above here. All right, so next weapon we have is the Mythril Type 0 Katana. So I'm going to say right now that the skill is kind of meh. He gives himself a regen, he gives himself a heal, he increases his physical defense to a very high amount. Situational. I would rather have Sephiroth buff his offensive capabilities and just rely on my healer to keep me alive and then keep attacking. But the ability itself is meh. The R abilities, however, are pretty good. You get boost HP plus 40, and you also get this. So the attack stance command at max is specifically for magic. So this is excellent for your sub-weapon. This is a good sub-weapon option for Sephiroth if you're going to want to give him more damage to his magical abilities and as well as a little bit more survivability. This is where the value of this weapon lies. Not really on the actual ability, but on the reinforcement abilities. And again, for this one, I wouldn't even really care about the support materia because this is a weapon that you're not going to be putting on your main hand, in my opinion. But all in all, the value comes from the R abilities, not the ability itself. Because of that, I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to put it right below Glary. Great R abilities for a sub-weapon. Not a secondary or main hand weapon, but for a sub-weapon. But the ability itself, he doesn't need that. I don't think... I mean, unless they give him, like, tanking capabilities later on in the future, he doesn't really need that. So that's going to be my ranking for the Mythril Type 0 Katana. And then the final weapon that we have is the Shinra Blade Model 1, which looks really sick. In my opinion, I really like the design. This is his highest damage modifier at 940%. It is a single target, non-elemental attack. So if you're fighting an enemy where ice is not really needed, this could be a great substitute for that. He also gets 2 good R abilities, which is boost attack, gives him a boost to his magic and physical, and also boost ability potency, which again, these are great. This is a great one to have. It boosts the attack stance command for both physical and magic, so there's flexibility on this weapon. Support materia is pretty solid. I love that last one. If you're running this, you could give him like Watera on the 3rd slot and just go to town with that particular spell. Like this would that 3rd slot, put water on that, and that you could like melt a boss like Ramuh, for example. This is a solid weapon. Not as good as Edged Wings, but it's a good substitute if you're fighting an enemy where like ice damage is neutral and you want something that hits a little bit harder. This is one that you're going to definitely want to consider. And the R abilities on this are good. So if you put this on your main hand, it's actually a really, really good choice on the main hand. Not as, like, again, not as good as Edged Wings, but I'm going to put it right... I'll put it right here. I'll put it right here. I'm going to put it at low A tier, at the lowest A tier, because I like the R abilities. It is his highest damage modifier, and if you want an option that's not ice, where enemies are not weak to ice, and you want something just to hit hard with raw damage, then that's a pretty good go-to weapon. But this is going to go ahead and conclude my personal tier list for Young Sephiroth's weapons. Let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know if there's a weapon that you feel like I totally undervalued, that I probably missed out on explaining, you know, properly. I want to know. I want to have a good conversation with you guys, you know, about this particular topic. But thank you guys again for watching. Stay tuned for the next video, and stay blessed, everybody.